podcast before. Yeah, it's not great. It's not great when in the middle of your hour-long podcast, like Audacity just quits and says, "No, you're out of space. We're done with that."
Ugh.
And you've got this raw 37.5 gigabyte file that you can no longer do anything with. And so I've made it a habit before every podcast. I always make sure I've got at least 40 gigabytes saved up because I don't want to have to ever go through that again.
Yeah, that's very smart of you.
Yeah. If there's one thing I do right, it's audio prep.
It's audio prep.
And then even then, it's only sometimes. Only sometimes.
So we were talking about 80s movies earlier. What is your favorite 80s movie?
Hands down. Man. You see, that's an unfair question because I don't know if there was ever a decade. You know what? I'm not even going to hedge any bets here. I don't think there was ever a better movie decade than the 1980s.
Okay.
I think the 1980s produced the highest number of fantastic films per year that you could possibly get.
Okay.
90s got close. And the 90s were absolutely carried by Disney in that regard because they just kept putting out blockbuster after blockbuster of animated film that...
Yeah.
Hercules. What you gonna say against Hercules?
You can't say anything about it.
What you about to say against Pocahontas? You can't say nothing. I mean...
I'm not a huge fan of Flit. Hummingbird.
But, I mean, do you paint with all the colors of the wind, though, my brother?
I feel like I do. I feel like I try.
Look, Pocahontas gets a win from me for putting forward the fantastic meme of these white men are dangerous, but I love them though. But anyways, the 80s. Like, come on, man, you got Back to the Future. You've got, I think, did Return of the Jedi drop in the 80s? That was like, was that 81, 82?
I want to say
Empire was 70. Was Empire 70s? Because if Empire was 80s, this conversation's over.
I think that was 82. And then I want to say,
oh man,
I want to say that 85 was Return.
Was Return? That sounds about right. Because it was definitely before stuff like I think it was before Back to the Future. But like I said, if Empire dropped in the 80s, this conversation's done. My point has been made.
I don't know, man.
But
you have Alien.
Alien.
You have Alien, and you have Blade Runner.
When did Alien 1 drop, though? Was that a 70s flick?
I want to say Alien was... I want to say it was early... I'm going to check it right now.
Tell me that was
1979. 80s. It was 1979. It was right on the cusp of being an 80s movie.
What year? But, okay, so we got Aliens. That means Aliens... So Alien dropped in 79. Aliens had to have been in 80s, which is... Aliens is a fantastic movie. So, I mean... I'll still take that, but like you got the Indiana Jones flicks, which some of my favorite movies of all time. I've always been a big high-flying adventure type of guy, and Lord knows the Indiana Jones movies set the bar for all of those moving into the future. But like, shoot, we got Chad here. Breakfast Club, Empire Strikes Back was 1980. Like I said, wait, Jedi was 83. I didn't think it was that early. I thought it was mid 80s.
No, I thought it was like 85, but it stands to reason that we're two years off on all of these.
On all of them. Look, as long as it's 80s, I'm down with it. And Chad is going off with it. We got stuff like Commando.
Yes. Commando. Oh my God. Ferris Bueller's
Predator.
Day Off.
Predator. Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
The original Predator. I first saw that before we get into Destiny news. I first saw Predator on TV, like the TV edit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I saw that back to back with the one with Danny Glover, the part 2.
Predator 2, yeah. The original, I'm too old for this shit.
Oh my God.
He was too old for it even when Predator 2 came out.
Danny Glover, national treasure.
So of course, he is a national treasure. And of course, this conversation spawned because you watched
RoboCop for the first time.
For the first time, which I am ecstatic about because I love RoboCop. And man, movies like RoboCop, First Blood, Predator. I got to go rewatch the first Predator film because, man, that movie was just pure testosterone from start to finish. Dylan, you son of a bitch. Feels good, though. Okay, so now that you've seen because I can't let this conversation end without following up on the RoboCop thing. You've seen RoboCop 1. You don't need to see the rest of them.
I think we're good.
You don't need to see 2 or 3 or 4 or any of those. Unless you just like movies that are so bad they're good. There was a RoboCop reboot in like 2014.
I never saw that one.
I have seen it once, maybe twice.
How did you feel about it?
Nobody liked it. I thought it was all right.
Yeah.
It's very clearly a different beast from the original RoboCop. We were talking about this before the stream. Murphy got it dirty in the original RoboCop. A lot of people got done dirty.
That was really violent.
It was a very look. Detroit don't play games.
No.
Detroit don't play no type of games. Ed will do you dirty. So the 2014, it's like 2012 or 2014. It's nowhere near as violent.
Yeah.
It's very much a 2000s action flick. Yeah. But I didn't think it was awful. I thought it was all right. Wasn't great. Wasn't awful.
I'll give it a shot. I'll give it a shot. But the first RoboCop movie is just like super funny. Yeah. Like it's a funny movie outside of everything else. Like the SUX 3000. Oh God.
I love the 80s so very much.
So
very much. So the conclusion to this being everybody should go out and watch 80s flicks, especially RoboCop.
Do it.
Move on to theirs. And of course, for those of you who are watching this, you're in chat right now. For those of you who might be watching this on the YouTube playback, let us know, what are your favorite 80s flicks? Mm-hmm. And was the 80s the greatest decade for movies? I think it was and is and probably forever will.
So did this just become like a movie podcast? Like, what are we doing here? I brought it up.
I think it did. There's a lot to like about movies there, sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's more to watch than there is to play. But that being said, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Episode 244 of the Planet Destiny podcast. One where we talk movies. I like movies. Movies are good. Back to the Future. I'll go back and watch that trilogy because why would I not?
Feels like that's what's going to be Beyond Light, right?
It kind of does. I saw some really weird theories about what might be going on in Beyond Light with the stranger coming back and reminiscing to like the first couple of missions that she was in D1 and who was she talking to?
Yeah.
Wonder if we're finally going to learn about some of that time traveling, space hopping, hoverboard nonsense.
She's Marty McFly.
She might be Marty McFly, which makes us either her dad, her mom,
or Professor Brown.
Or Professor Brown. Or who were the people who were trying to kill him in the first movie? Tunisians?
I think so. I think so.
It's like random ethnic group trying to kill Doc Brown because he took nuclear material from them or something.
Oh, Doc Brown.
I love it. That man hasn't aged today. Christopher Lloyd, you are a treasure. But yeah, Beyond Light, we're a couple months away from that. We've got some weird stuff going on with it. We're certainly leading into that with the content that's going on in the world of Destiny 2 right now. I was going to say it hasn't been too active of a week news-wise for Destiny, but that would be a lie because a week or so ago, we found out some pretty awful news. Coming from a pretty large contingent of the Destiny, at least the PvP community that oh boy,
it wasn't
too pleased with.
It wasn't just that. It was like prominent members of the Twitch directory, like of the Destiny Twitch directory, and it's like
what do you say to it?
I don't know what you say. Yeah. I think in that time it's like time to listen over anything else, and the most you can say is, hey, we're here for you, and thanks for sharing your stories and actually listening and making sure that this stuff doesn't happen anymore within our community, at least.
Pretty clearly a cleaning needed to happen, and we stand with you. Tell your story, get the scumbags out. And to everybody else out there, don't be a scumbag.
Yeah,
just you would think that that's pretty easy to follow.
If you have the opportunity to be a scumbag, don't do it.
Don't. Yeah. So obviously we couldn't not make a mention of that. We're not going to make the entire show about it because it's not our story to tell. It's not a conversation that needs to be had, and thank God it's happening now. Really sad about some of it, though. There's some really, really awful stories that have come out of it.
Yeah. So
we want to focus on more positive things. Yeah.
Yes.
Be good to each other. You know, a week before all of that came to light, we raised $1 million for children's charities with St. Jude.
More than that. There was like 6 million. I think it was 6 million at the end of the day.
Right.
Was raised.
So for a lot of people out there who've been feeling really bad about some of the news that has been coming out, I don't lose all hope. This community still seems to knock it out of the water when it comes to being more positive than negative. And I for one, am very happy about that. Bungie, in particular, their live stream was a lot of fun to watch. We got some live grimoire readings with some of the community managers there. We got to see some concept art and stuff. We blew through stretch goals so quickly that Bungie had to make up
new ones
on the fly. And as a part of that, we got a bit of new information about a returning exotic that's going to be dropping in Destiny 2 Beyond Light. One that has been near and dear to my heart since the game. This franchise started half a decade ago. Hawkmoon is finally making its way into Destiny 2. And it'll be here with Beyond Light. Without the lucky bullets, of course.
Yeah. We also found out Olivia Munn was a Titan. That's what Finn submitted. You know, we're getting a Destiny toaster, a Bungie toaster soon.
We are getting a toaster.
Shaped like Jotun, then mistake.
Mistakes were made.
Yeah.
I will drop money on a Jotun toaster. I don't even eat toast. I'll buy it just to have it on my counter, to put it on the bookcase back there or something, so I can have just the freshest, crispiest, long-range tracking needs to be nerfed toasters in the game.
If the toast pops up and doesn't have a burnt-in imprint of a ragdoll of a hunter and Titan, then it's gonna be very.
Do you remember the quest to get? I think it was a part of the Malfeasance storyline where you go and find where Shin Malphur pasted that guy against the wall, and it's just like the burned imprint of the guy against the wall from the golden gunshot. That's what I would want.
That's what you want? Okay.
Just from Jotun toasters. Just with an imprint of an unlucky and very upset hunter in the middle of the toast. But yeah, that was a pretty awesome live stream. It was a pretty awesome charity event, and once again, this community knocked it out of the park with raising money for St. Jude's Children's Hospital, as you guys do every single time. So pat yourself out on the back. You guys did a good job, and we got to see some pretty interesting live streams coming from it. I want to see Bungie do more stuff like that.
Oh yeah, definitely, absolutely. Did you see Leopard Stealth right before Bungie?
No, I missed that.
He raised enough money to get a Halo cut. Do you know what the Halo cut is?
What is a Halo cut?
It is when you shave all the hair off of your face and head, except for the bottom of the beard and the top as a strap of your head.
No. Oh no.
So it's just a ring of hair around your face.
So the top.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Only here. You could only streamers could pull that look off, because if you've got a day job, rest in peace.
Yeah. It was wonderful.
See, this is the kind of stuff that happens when you put a stretch goal in front of the Destiny community and you dare them. You look at them and say, you won't.
They will.
you won't raise this money. They will.
Yeah.
They absolutely will.
They're pretty good at that.
Yeah, it's about all we do.
Yeah. So getting into the past couple weeks in Destiny, what all have you done? What we did? I'm sure you forge farmed because I did, and we talked about it
Absolutely.
that week.
Yeah.
When Ninja was on.
Yep.
How high in light did you get from that?
From the forge farm?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that took me from, let's see, that was like the first or so week of Season of Arrivals.
Yeah.
I think I was in the 1020s, and I'm pretty sure that took me to like 1048, 1049.
Mm-hmm.
The days that I was doing it, because I was doing it when I was off at work, you know.
Yeah.
Get 8 hours to go to work, and I'd come back and everything would be full. So yeah, I'd be lying if I didn't say that I saw some benefit from the AFK Forge farm. I absolutely did. Plus, remember, that wasn't the only thing going on there. We also had the crazy things with the Umbral engrams were a part of that, decrypting at a much higher light than what they were supposed to be doing.
Right.
And a couple of other weird sources. We found out about one really weird thing. Yeah, fixed. We had the weirdness with the prophecy dungeon this week where you could just like farm the boss for all of, what was that?
You could farm 12 the hours? Final chest. It's not the boss. You could just farm the chest after the boss because that was technically the checkpoint.
That was it. Very odd coding choice there, Bungie, to make the chest the checkpoint. So as long as you had that, you could just farm it over and over again. I didn't get to do any of that, but I did get a lot of benefit from the forge farm.
Oh man. Yeah, it was I forge farmed and I do not regret a thing.
Nope.
Because it helped me to get into in-game faster, which is like, I mean, what do you think of arbitrary light level boost? Like that 50?
I don't have a problem with it when there's content that caters to it. When there's something you can run to get yourself leveled up really quickly that is relevant. The problem I have with a lot of this stuff is kind of the same issue that we had when Black Armory started. And, suddenly all this new content dropped, but no one was anywhere near a high enough power level to get to it. Mm-hmm. There was no activity that you could run to get you to a high enough power level to run the forges. The forge was the high level activity. And so I don't find any value in you dropping content that's at max level, and I basically have to be at or close to max level to enjoy it. And I have to just go and play normal things to get farmed up to that.
Right.
So that's kind of the similar issue that we've got going on right now. There was no real activity available to level you up to, say, dungeon level. Dungeon was the activity. Right. And you're having to abuse other sources of powerful drops to get to the new activity. Not a big fan of that. And that's why I don't feel bad about, AFK farming and power grinding as quickly as possible so that I can actually play the new stuff. Right. If there was new stuff to get me to the dungeon, that'd be fine. But not what we got.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm in the same boat. I think it pushed me up to like 1050 overall on my characters. And then I started like, knocking out pinnacles each week, trying to at least. I think my Titan is actually my highest character because like I didn't have enough time to work down from my Titan to my Warlock to my Hunter one week, so it was like I gotta flip it like somehow. But yeah, it's been pretty cool, and like I experienced the dungeon. Not I think first week. I think if you check dungeons, it was the first week, but I could be very wrong.
Right on.
And I ran a bunch of those last Sunday with Cheyenne Gaming on Sunday to help like people through on their first runs for it. And dude, that thing's awesome.
Yeah, I gotta agree.
Yeah.
That's that's mostly what I've been doing for the past couple of weeks. I didn't play the dungeon on week 1. I got into it on week 2. And for the most part, when I'm playing Destiny 2 right now, I'm either farming the dungeon or I'm playing PvP. That's it. And man, Prophecy, the new dungeon, is a really fun time. I really enjoy this. And I would have to say Bungie knocked it out of the park with the way they structured this dungeon. Thematically, it's super cool. It's really cool looking aesthetics-wise. you're actually incentivized to run it over and over and over again because you can continually get loot.
Yes.
Who knew?
And
this would get you to run stuff.
Not only the loot that you got, like, so let's back it up to that. So I think that's probably the best reward structure they've had in Destiny outside of the Menagerie.
Absolutely.
And it's like the fact that you can go in, like each week you can get fresh items from your first run, but they're locked in to that to just those items over the week for you to farm, and then add the previous pool into that is pretty bonkers. Yeah.
It's fantastic. I love that because we've argued for a long time that raids and dungeons and stuff like this should give you some kind of reward for running them over and over and over again, even on this a single character, rather than, you know, run it 3 times for all 3 of your characters and then don't touch this premier content that we've made, this pinnacle content that we've made. And I think the system that they've got with the prophecy dungeon is fantastic. You said it. You run it for your fresh reset that week. Say you get boots and or gauntlets or whatever. That's locked in. So every time you run it for the rest of the week until reset, it's going to continually drop you boots and gauntlets at those encounters. It's fantastic because you're incentivized to continue running it until you get the role that you want. And this is honestly what I hope Bungie does, not just for dungeons moving forward. I want to see this for raids. Do this change for raids so that if I finally get lucky enough to get a raid helmet, but it's an awful stat roll, I can just run again and get guaranteed helmets until I get the helmet that I want.
Yeah, that's
you're letting people. Yeah, you're letting people run this as much as they want because it's content they want to play. But as we've seen in a looter shooter, if you don't give people a reason to run the content that they like to play, they're not going to play it, even if they like playing. You know, even if they enjoy the activity itself, if there's no reason to run it, people aren't going to run it.
Yeah.
And Bungie has kind of solved that issue here with Prophecy. You've got plenty of incentive to play, plenty of things to grind for. Shoot, Death Adder is, I think, one of the SMGs that's dropping.
Yeah.
They're
trying to replace Recluse, right?
Absolutely trying to replace it because some of the roles you can get on Death Adder are pretty nutty. And so if you happen to get that as a drop, you can just continue running the dungeon until you get the role that you want. Fantastic. I want to see them do that with more stuff moving forward.
Yeah. That structure is like overwhelmingly positive, and something that I hope that they do in other dungeons. I want them to add it to past dungeons if they can.
Yeah.
Like that, like,
oh man, yeah.
That, like, I really like how they built it. And the encounters are really fun.
Yeah, man.
With mechanics that are similar, like, to things that you've dealt with in the past. But then the light and the darkness thing where you have to pay attention to where you stand is awesome. It like something that constantly keeps you moving. And I love it, dude. It's that first boss where, like, every time you slam the plate and the rings change the light on the ground that's cool. Like an instant favorite of mine. Now you can melt the boss pretty crazily.
grab a sword.
Yeah, but yeah, I've been really enjoying each of the encounters. Is actually, like, very rewarding and not one that I've been like, all right, we got to go through this again. Like,
right.
So I don't know. It's just been it's a good time. I like feeling energized about an activity in Destiny again.
Same. And I would echo a lot of your sentiments there. It's a fantastic dungeon. I think Prophecy is probably gonna be my new favorite dungeon. It's a tough fight between that and the Forsaken dungeon, the Shattered Throne.
Yeah, Shattered Throne.
Shattered Throne felt like an adventure. Like you had stumbled your way into something crazy and hidden and wild. But structurally, I think Prophecy is probably the best designed dungeon because it's like a miniature raid. It's what I want to see them do with raids moving forward. A mechanic is introduced. It's very clear once you understand it, and then that mechanic is used throughout the rest of the encounter in interesting ways. Like you said, where you slam one, and then the lighting changes and stuff like that. So it keeps you moving around. And I've seen actually a lot of conversation this week coming out of people who've been playing Prophecy that they want to see 3-man raids rather than 6-man raids, and they're basing it off of their experience in Prophecy. And honestly, I can't think of an argument against that. I like 6-man raids, but if we got maybe slightly smaller raids that were tuned for 3 people rather than 6, I would be okay with it. I can't think of a legitimate argument to put up against it. It's a good idea. I like 6-man raids. I think 6-man raids are fun. I don't want to see those go away, but I could understand why people would want 3-man raids after playing Prophecy.
I think there's a longevity and a technicality to 6-man raids, though. Like, anytime you like, just thinking of what you have to do to beat Dory the second time around, right?
Yeah.
Like, the fact that 2 teams, one has to shoot eyes in order to buy time for the relay team, and the relay team is buying time for the eye team. Like, that entire structure it's simple and complicated at the same time, and it allows for a lot. It allows for a well-oiled team to do it well and to knock it out of the park pretty quickly. It also allows a team that may not be so well-oiled to kind of fumble around with it, and you're going to have people who, like, maybe somebody misses an eye, or, you know, somebody forgets to grab 5 motes on the first time through, and so they have to, like, grab a couple more on the way back. Like, it allows for those type of moments, and I wouldn't necessarily want to see those go away.
Neither would I.
Yeah, I like 6-man raids a lot. Now, the dungeons allow for a lot of innovation through the development, or like through your play time with it. Like the cube room is pretty cool. Like, figuring that out was a pretty cool moment of just like, oh, you gotta play tag with Toland around the room.
Yeah,
got it.
Follow him around.
Yeah, and so that was neat. But I don't know. I still want 6-man raids. Like, 6-man raids are really fun. Like, no PvE doesn't really have anything like getting stacked and rolling into PvP, unless it's a raid, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I mean, I couldn't imagine. We would get encounters like the Oracle phase before the Templar and Vault of Glass with 3 people. We wouldn't get stuff like that. And which is why I said I don't want to get rid of 6-man raids.
Yeah.
I don't. I don't want to put that message out at all. I'm perfectly fine with raids remaining as a 6-man activity. There was just a conversation going on about Prophecy showing that 3-man raids could certainly be a thing.
Yeah.
And I think just look at dungeons as 3-man raids and follow this formula that Bungie set up with Prophecy, because again, it's so good. It's clear, it's understandable, it tests you. You know, when you get into that final fight and you're either at level or slightly underneath, you got to be on point with those knights.
Yeah.
And
you do have to. I also saw this on Reddit earlier, where somebody was like, I feel pretty weak compared to where I was last season. Like, have you noticed that at all?
Sparingly. There's been once or twice where I've just been out in a PvE activity and it's like, whoa, I died kind of quick to that. Quicker than I expected. And I've seen some people thinking that the Bungie might have screwed up some tuning with something and maybe overtuned some enemies. It's a similar scenario to when you're playing Gambit. For those who don't know, enemies in Gambit are stronger than their normal counterparts in the regular game. We've been able to confirm that with Bungie devs. So when you're out there and like that knight 2-shots you rather than 3 or 4-shotting you like they normally would if you're at level, that's why. It's because enemies in Gambit are tuned to deal way more damage than they normally do. And some people are thinking that Bungie might have accidentally taken some of those parameters and applied it to certain other areas of PvE. I don't think Bungie's made any statements about that.
Accidentally.
I don't know if they've made any statements about it, and I haven't been paying enough attention to that. Maybe in like the interference missions, because the shriekers in those do kill you real fast.
Yeah.
Real fast. Yeah. How about you? Have you noticed it?
Yeah, I definitely. Like, I feel like my hunter has never felt more weak in all its days. Just like I feel like I'm getting put through a paper shredder. I don't know why that is, but it definitely something's going on.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know, especially for how high in light we are now compared to the tuning like 40 up and 40 down.
Right. Yeah.
So I don't know. It feels weird.
I wouldn't be surprised. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if there was some weird tuning in some of these PvE activities. Certainly in the interference story missions. It feels like those things at the very least hit harder than their normal PvE counterparts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
As long as you don't blanket apply that to champions.
Please don't.
Mostly okay with all of that. So right on. So that's prophecy. Obviously, we're enjoying that. That's been the majority of my PvE content for the past 2 weeks. I've just been, if I'm in PvE, I'm doing prophecy. I'm just running that dungeon over and over again because it's a lot of fun and I enjoy doing it. It's a really cool activity. It's a really cool world space. I'm particularly fond of the Mario Kart 64 Rainbow Road section of that dungeon, with all the weird gravity and the racing. Maybe one change. Maybe Bungie could take away the 45-second respawn timer in that particular area.
That would probably be like 20 seconds is probably all you need, right?
Yeah.
For that counter.
Look, it's shameful enough that I fell off the Rainbow Road. I don't need to sit there and think about my actions for 45 seconds.
Which path is your favorite on the Rainbow Road?
Oh man. Left.
Okay.
The left path is the far left. It curves around and is mostly accessible to just boosting through on your sparrow. But if you stay on it, it curves sharply to the right and starts doing loop-de-loops. So you have to jump from one ribbon to another. But that's the one I take for the most part.
Yeah.
How about you?
I've been doing the right one. I've been doing the right-hand path. That one, like, I want to say that's the easy path over all of them. Is that you can kind of make it through without getting hit by snipers too much.
Yeah.
There's a couple of times where you have to jump off, but I mean it's not necessarily like it's not necessary to do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's got these big. It has my favorite part of it. It has this big giant ribbon that just does a huge loop, and in between there's one of those triangle blocks that you can come off that to onto the block and then onto the second part of the ribbon without having to jump off or anything. So it's pretty neat.
Goes up.
Yeah.
It's a cool area. And I really I would love to get one of those Bungie Insight videos on the creation of Prophecy and what they were thinking when they came up with the big open Sparrow Racing Rainbow Road section.
They just took a bunch of DMT.
I mean,
what was
given the color scheme.
What were those ribbons I was running on last night? I got an idea.
Hey, find your inspiration wherever you find your inspiration, Bungie. Keep it coming. It's a cool activity. I think everybody should get there and do it. And honestly, once you're at level, once you're 1050 and above, it's not that hard to solo. Have you soloed it yet?
I have not attempted to solo it yet. I'm still working on my Pit of Heresy, which is I figured out the ball dupe, like how to ball dupe in Pit. And I feel like they increased the timer on that because you can ball dupe in the contact event, and that's pretty easy.
Yes.
And then somebody's gonna see you dropping the ball and being like, "What are you doing? Throw it in there!" And like they'll take it from you
every time.
Yeah, but like when you ball dupe in Pit, it feels like the timer to hold is a little bit quicker than in contact, and so you have to kind of finesse it a little bit, and it
is different.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's still working on that one. But
Well, right on, man. I've soloed up until the final boss. I haven't beaten the final boss solo yet, and it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. And of course, once you know where you're going, it's pretty straightforward to get through the prophecy dungeon itself from point A to point B. So you can get to the final encounter in 15, 20 minutes. Yeah. It does not take long at all.
Are you using mountaintop?
Yes.
Okay.
And I'm using I generally have to swap around based on the encounter. For the final fight, it's probably going to be, I'm probably going to have to switch to Izanagi's just to play it safe, since Izanagi's can one-shot the knights, it can two-shot the ogres and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
And I don't have to get up on their nuts in order to do it. But it's not bad. It's not bad. It's a lot of fun to play around with, and I would definitely recommend it for everybody else. Once you understand how the dungeon works, it's not impossible to do. It's certainly been easier to solo than Shattered Throne was.
Yeah.
Good Lord, Shattered Throne is still the pinnacle of difficulty when it comes to soloing some content. That ogre boss fight is still one of the roughest things in the game to do by yourself.
So I still want to go in there with Heir Apparent and try to knock some heads, because the last time I did that, it was last season, therefore the Warmind stuff was going on.
Right.
And I was doing some bonkers stuff with the double skips. But like when it came to killing the boss, I think I got to like a little over three quarters damage on the boss with Heir Apparent, because you could just stand in one place, the shield is protecting you, and the little Axion bolts didn't get to you.
Couldn't penetrate it?
They couldn't penetrate it. So it was like, all right, well then I'm just gonna Rambo the shit out of this until, I don't have to anymore. And it was pretty cool. I got a little sketch around like the second phase, but that's me. So
got it done though, huh?
Yeah. So it's weird.
Right on. It's a big challenge. It's still a really hard fight because, of course, your light level doesn't matter when you get in there. As long as you're at whatever level the activity is, and you're not getting, delta scaled down, the enemies are still just going to hit as hard as they can. Right. For me, for that particular fight, I just go full unga bunga. For me, the hardest part of that is getting to the damage phase. But once damage phase starts up, bum rush him, I drop a well of radiance.
Yeah.
Legend to Acreus. Done.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Legend destroys him. It absolutely. If you're fast I shouldn't say fast enough. If you're on PC, you can actually do a quick hot swap between Tractor Cannon and Legend. So you just rush up, Tractor Cannon him, go into your menu, swap over to Legend, and he dies instantly. you can take advantage of the bonus damage pretty quickly, pretty easily.
That's ridiculous.
There's a lot of silly ways to do that fight, but it's a lot of fun though. It's a lot of fun to solo. And I would, like I said, for Prophecy, I definitely recommend anybody get out there, get a fire team together. It only takes 3 people or less if you're good, if you're really, really good at the game. Like if you're like Error, and you're soloing things on week 1.
Yeah,
it's a lot of fun to go in there and get that done.
Yeah,
but like I said, that's most of what I've been doing in terms of Destiny PvE. And when I'm not in PvE, when I'm not running that dungeon content, I'm in Crucible. And this week we've been playing a lot of Supremacy because, of course, that's the playlist available this week. And I have been living in the Crucible for the past 2 weeks. I'm already done with my glory grind. I got that done last week. That's the first time I've gotten past Fable. I've bothered to go into the comp playlist and get past Fabled, I think, since right before Shadowkeep came out. Really? I think that was the last time I bothered going into comp because there was no reason to. I didn't want to. There was nothing in there that I needed to get other than like Revoker, and that was pretty much it. And so I got all of my glory stuff done last week because I've just been having so much fun playing PvP. I'm really enjoying the expanding meta that we have right now. I think right now I've got about 2 or 3 different loadouts that I'm jumping through. I'm either rocking Vigilance Wing with Fell Winters or something like I'm one of those scumbags with Mountaintop in Crucible right now.
Are you pairing it with a nice Gnawing Hunger?
Mountaintop Gnawing Hunger has it's such a disgusting combination right now. And Gnawing Hunger is it's such a good gun. Yeah. It's the gun that's making me think, oh no, Bungie's gonna hit the archetype, because Gnawing Hunger, statistically, stat-wise, it's one of the best performing auto rifles in that tier. Yeah. It's so stable. It's got such a good range stat. It's so sticky. I've been having way too much fun.
Yeah.
Way too much.
I've been using Gnawing Hunger quite a bit. And you're playing exclusively on PC? Like,
yes.
Just on that platform. Where are you falling in the score, like in your party? Are you falling like farther up the scale, or like mid to low?
So it varies. It's sometimes there's a stomp.
Yeah.
And I'm on the receiving end of it. And sometimes it's been a stomp and I'm the one dishing it out. I'm pulling up my Destiny tracker history right now, because like it'll go from my average score per game is pretty consistent. It's usually upper 20s to 30s, but I don't know what to expect whenever I jump into a lobby now. I'm either getting destroyed or destroying. It's been kind of all over the place. I've been enjoying it though. I've been enjoying it a lot. I've been having a lot of fun in PvP, and of course, this is inevitably going to morph into a skill-based matchmaking conversation. Yeah, and I think you still play on console as well, right?
So I've played on PC this week again, and I've played on console, and I definitely know what my performances are. Like, I'm either the bottom 2 on PC,
yeah,
or like on console, I'm never at the top, which is fine. I do not have the skills required to be at the top of the list on anything right now when it comes to PvP.
I know that feel.
Yeah, but like on console, I'm respectfully like in the middle. Like I'm never like really the last 2, but I'm in the middle. My KD has taken a dip, which is fine.
Yeah,
like I don't care about that so much, but I feel like I perform better on console versus PC, and I think
absolutely.
I think it's, I don't want to say the quality of the players, because there's some really quality players on PlayStation, but I want to say that a lot of the people who took it extra seriously moved over to PC as soon as they could, and they don't really make it back that like to console. And so as somebody who on PC, I constantly feel like I'm sweating. Like
oh yeah.
And so I understand the arguments for like the top 20% saying, well, we don't want to constantly be playing each other because that's a constant sweat for us. Understood. But I don't know. I know Ninja was like, well, they're called 1%ers because you're only going to match them 1% at a time. I was like, I don't know. I don't know. There have been some guys that have been like, yeah, you got me. I get it. Thank you for the bag.
There's a lot of good players out there.
Yeah. Thanks for the bag. See you later.
Yeah, there's always going to be some of that. I'm looking at my stats here, and it's win, loss, loss, win, loss. It's been pretty consistent either way. I do play primarily on PC now. I think the last time I was on PS4 on Destiny 2 was like over a year ago.
Yeah.
And I have noticed a difference. I will say that. I have noticed a very solid difference in at least the quality of matches that I'm getting more consistently than anything else. PC is inevitably a more sweaty environment. Most of the sweaty PvP players did move on to PC when this game came out, and there's a whole lot of Adderall injecting, G Fuel snorting people out there who are really good at this game and play on the PC platform, and I do run into that a lot. But for the most part, it's I've had a much more enjoyable experience. I can't lie. I was playing a little bit last night, and it's like instant queues. And I know I've said this a couple of times on the show, and I can't really, unless you've experienced it, I can't really explain it to you what it's like. I have not had an instantaneous PvP queue in forever. I think the last time I had an instantaneous PvP queue where I didn't have to sit and wait a minimum of 5 minutes to get into some kind of game was like when I made a Smurf account on PS4. Right. And so that's been really nice. The connection quality of my games has been great. You know, those issues where you run into super armored guardians who are running into a wall, but then teleporting 50 miles behind you, but also simultaneously headshotting you. I've had exactly one of those instances.
Okay.
One over the past 2 weeks. And I took down the guy's name and remembered it because it was the first time I had experienced it since they made this change. And it was because I was playing at 4:00 in the morning.
Oh.
I was playing Crucible at 4:00 in the morning because I was having so much fun in Crucible. I didn't want to stop playing and get off. And I guess, you know, at that time, that was probably one of the few people that could match me. They could consistently match me with. So, honestly, I've had a good time. And I know I've been an enemy. Shoot, anybody who's watched or listened to this show for a long time has known that I have not enjoyed skill-based matchmaking ever since it was really implemented after House of Wolves. You guys know I'm biased towards a connection-based system. I think it's much better to base people based on to matchmake people based on the quality of their connections, how close they are to one another. I think it's much better to do that than it is to try to match somebody 1-for-1 with somebody on their exact skill level. And I know there's a lot of people that have a bad experience with that. A buddy of mine, Crit Buff, was talking about this over on his Twitter about his experiences playing Crucible right now and how it's changed since Bungie has altered these matchmaking algorithms. And I get the feeling probably with Beyond Light, Bungie's probably going to make some sort of revision. I don't think it's going to be the Wild West forever. I wish it were. Honestly, I wish it would be the Wild West forever. I get the feeling they'll probably make some tuning adjustments in the future. But for right now, I have noticed a much increased quality of game. And that doesn't mean I'm not Frostbolt. I'm not Imtash. I'm not one of those super 1% players. I'm not stomping every game that I get into right now. There are games I get into where I get stomped. There's games I get into which are more even. There's games I get into where I do stomp. I think the last big game that I put up, going through my Destiny tracker here, was like I got 36 kills. It was 36 kills in a game of Supremacy, which is glorified TDM with extra steps. And that was like 1 out of the last 10. Most of the time I'm scoring in like the mid-20s. Right. So it's not like it's been that crazy. But I've had a good time. I've had a pretty good time in PvP. I'm enjoying my time there. And I haven't jumped on console. So like so you said you've played on PC and it's super sweaty. Can confirm it's super sweaty on PC. What's it like on console? What's the difference there?
I mean, there's a little, like, I guess it just depends on the amount of sweat. Like, I mean, on PC, it's just like, oh man, let me break Fandinity out here. This is really getting the haunches. But when it comes to like PlayStation, I feel like I'm more relaxed there. But it could be a comfortability thing. It could be like that nobody can play on mouse and keyboard or without like a Zim or something like that. Yeah. So like you don't have people like 360ing on you like lightning quick. I saw a guy do that recently, not for the first time, but like first time in a long time. And I was like, oh shit, dude. Whoa. No, respect. Yeah. 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 Thank you for handing my ass to me. I wondered where it went. And
I was looking for that.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, sir, for returning it to me. Yes, I will back out after this match. So I don't know. It's like,
I feel that.
I for a while there, I felt like I was pretty okay at PvP, and now it's like it's trying to find my way back into it, and trying to find the motivation to get better at it, I guess is the big thing. So
I feel that.
Yeah. I don't know. That's
yeah. No, I get it. And as a controller player on PC, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
There's only so much I can do. And I wish Aura were here because I'd love to get his opinion on it, because of course he's primarily a controller player on PC, but he's been pushing himself to play with mouse and keyboard more. And I'd love to hear how his experience has changed with some of these matchmaking algorithm changes. And I think part of the reason why I'm mostly okay with the stomp or be stomped sort of thing is because I legitimately do not care about winning or losing. There's no real incentive for winning in the Crucible right now. You get the same rewards for losing. So I think I'm looking at the very last game I played yesterday. Was a loss that I joined mid-progress and was like hilariously out of whack. There was no chance that I was going to be able to salvage that game and we were going to win. It doesn't bother me at all. I don't care whether I win or lose in there. As long as I'm having fun, enjoying the weapons that I'm using, then generally I don't care if we win or we lose. And that's mostly what I'm experiencing now. It's nice to be able to go into Crucible, whip out a goofy sidearm and do well, because I've been using a lot of the 7th Seraph sidearm because I love that stupid thing. And it's nice to be able to use what I want and not care about the absolute sweat going on.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I thought I was. Maybe I thought I was like, I don't care. Like, I'll just get what I get. It's fine.
Yeah.
Maybe I was that way, but now lately it's just been like, I swear to God, if I don't win, and I don't know what that I don't know what that I don't know what that transition was. I don't know where the point in that was, where it's just like, I don't know if I'm feeling more frustrated in PvP and therefore I'm taking it out on myself because I want to win, or like, I don't know. It's weird. It's very weird.
Yeah. Have you played any comp or elim?
No, I have not touched any of that in over a season. I have not.
It's still a mess. Just to let you know.
I haven't touched any of it in over a season because like when Trials came back, I was like, it would be nice to get back into Trials and to jump back in, but every week it seemed like something else was happening in the community where it was like, I don't know if this is good or not. Like, and so I just if anything, that word of mouth has just kind of pushed me further and further away, right? And so
I feel that
I haven't had any gumption to try to jump in because I'd rather help people with prophecy dungeons, or other things. So I don't know.
No, I think you hit on a vein of real truth there. There's no reason to play the comp playlist. I said that last week I spent a lot of time in comp. I didn't have a reason to.
Yeah.
There was nothing I was chasing. I just did it because I felt like, I'm really enjoying PvP right now. Let me go jump into 3v3 and see how that goes. I didn't have a reason to. There was no reward there. There was no reason to play it. And I think that's a real problem for the comp playlist. Comp's got a lot of structural issues that Bungie needs to work out. And I think first and foremost of which would be reward. That's what they're kind of working on with Trials right now. They're fixing the reward structure for Trials. I think some people would argue whether or not they did more harm than good with some of the more recent fixes. But it's an evolving thing. They're working on that, and I think comp needs the same sort of thing. It needs more tangible rewards. It needs a bigger reason to run through it right now. Right now, the only real reason I could think of to run comp, if you're not specifically going for some of those previous pinnacle weapons, is it has a habit of dropping powerful gear really often because you rank up all the time in comp, and that's it. But beyond that, there's no reason to be in there. There's no reason to be in the comp playlist.
Yeah, I thought about getting Mountaintop this season, and then I was like, why? Like, I haven't had it since it came out. It's not going to be good in-game activity after this season. Why do I need it? I don't need it.
You don't.
If anything, I need to find something that's comparable to it this season. And I've been hearing tales of a truth teller.
Truth teller.
What is the role that everybody's going for? I know it's like Spike Grenade. Is it Kill Clip?
It's always Spike. Okay. Spike Grenade is always preferable on those grenade launchers because I think it gives you something like it's a 40% damage buff to impact. So it takes some of the damage off of the explosion and puts it on the impact. And I think it overall amounts to about a 10% overall increase in damage versus not having Spike Grenade. So it's always preferable. Some combinations that I've been seeing are stuff like multi-kill clip, which is I think multi-kill clip, the most you can get is ×3, and it gives you like a 50% damage buff. Granted, with this is a grenade launcher, so you're going to need to kill 3 enemies in order to get multi-kill clip +3. But it'll give you a nice 50% damage buff. Another one that's really, really good, the role I would recommend to people is Grave Robber Swashbuckler.
Okay.
Because it basically makes it so that you get a melee kill, you get ×5 Swashbuckler, suddenly your Truth Teller is dealing like 30% more damage.
Jeez.
So it's not quite as good. Yeah, it's not quite as good as multi-kill clip, but it's way easier to activate when you've got Grave Robber on. Meleeing is also going to give you your ammo back.
Right.
It's real good. Real good.
All right.
So you want to
have to play around with that. I'm gonna have to try to get one of those because that sounds bonkers.
It's crazy. If you're looking to replace your mountaintop, I don't think it does quite as much damage as mountaintop, but it's real close.
Okay. Or get something that when when you didn't get mountaintop.
If you don't want to go through the nonsense required to get mountaintop, which is
I thought I did. I really thought I wanted to. I really did, and it turns out I don't. Like it just the further in I get and the more that I look at it, I'm like, why am I putting myself
why am I doing this?
Through this?
Yeah. It's a ridiculous quest. It's the second worst quest in the game, in my opinion. And now with sunsetting, because is this the last season where mountaintop is going to be?
Yeah, mountaintop
level appropriate.
Will not be relevant in in-game activity after this.
Look, if you don't have it, go get the Truth Teller. You don't need to get it unless you're just trying to fill out your collections, because it's not going to be worth the hassle. The only quest that's worse than mountaintop is Redrix, and well, I wouldn't put anybody through either of those.
I did Redrix. I did Redrix. I haven't played it yet. My friend Rodaka, who's in chat, swears by it lately. He's been like, go into PvP with it because holy shit.
As long as you haven't sharded it, because right now apparently you can't pull it from your collections. It's apparently some kind of glitch. You can't reacquire it from collections right now. But if you've got a Redrix's Claymore, grab that thing, take it into PvP, and laugh. It is hilariously good right now. Even in PvE, actually, because of some of the changes with those pulse rifles. Even in PvE, it's Desperado is pretty strong right now. So look, man, if you've got Redrix, you don't need mountaintop. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about mountaintop. You've got Redrix. That's enough of a grind for you. It's not worth it to go through the mountaintop quest.
Yeah, I can't.
Sunsetting.
So, moving on from that, we had a couple of. This week was kind of light in TWAB. Not the subject matter in TWAB, but like just some of the news things that are coming in TWAB. So we have Iron Banner coming back next week. With
Iron Banner.
Yeah. With I think we're getting reissued weapons and armor. Yeah.
Yes, and 2 reprised weapons: the forward path and the sidearm. Can't remember the name of it, but they're going to be what Bungie has called reprised versions of those original Year 1 Destiny 2 weapons, and they're going to have new perks on them.
Yeah.
Well, at least 2 new perks: Iron Grip and Iron Gaze, and both of those are pretty powerful, as I recall. It's something like for Iron Gaze, it's like +20 to your aim assist with like -40 or something to range or stability or something like that. And Iron Gaze is something similar. It's like +40 to stability at the cost of like handling or something like that.
Yeah.
But that started off a bit of a conversation, I'll say.
Okay.
In that, here we go again. We're in year 3 of Destiny 2, and we're like, is it year? I think it's year 3.
Yeah.
So we had year 1.
It is year 3. It is year 3. Year 4 starts with Beyond Light.
Right. And we still don't have any new Iron Banner weapons. We're still recycling the exact same gear we've had for a year or 2 now.
Yeah. Do you remember all those weapons in D1 where they just looked like they took just a bit of copper and then stuck a blade to it? Do you remember that? Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
I would take those, honestly. Look, Bungie, I get it. You're focusing on Beyond Light. I would have taken retexturing some D1 Iron Banner weapons and throwing them into the mix. I think you throw in Nerwin's Mercy, put it behind the Iron Banner quest for the season, people would have loved that.
Yeah.
They would have loved it. You take in some Silimer's, Silimer's Wrath, you add it to the loot pool, rather than the forward path, make it a reprised weapon and add some of these Iron Gaze and Iron Grip perks to it. I think people would have loved that. Oh, okay. I'm looking at them right now. Iron Grip plus 20 to stability, minus 40 to reload speed. And Iron Gaze is minus 40 to range, but plus 20 to aim assist. That's going to be interesting. Yeah. I think the forward path is already like a 70 aim assist, maybe 71 aim assist weapon. Mm-hmm. And plus 20 to that's going to be a little nutty for a 600 RPM auto rifle.
Right. So we're going to have to play Iron Banner, aren't we?
Gonna have to play it. Iron Banner, gonna have no skill-based matchmaking this time around, which is gonna be interesting.
Yeah, that's gonna be real quote unquote interesting.
Finalis Peril, Black Fox, that's right. I would love it if Bungie took a D1 Iron Banner weapon and said, hey, we've got to have some kind of seasonal quest for Iron Banner. We do it every time.
Yeah.
Make that the reward. I don't know. I'm fine with them bringing back these reprised and remade Iron Banner things to give you something to chase, but like grab something a bit more nostalgic than that.
Yeah.
I don't think it would have been that bad to grab a D1 weapon and bring it back. But
right.
I'll play it either way. This is good.
We're gonna have 4 pinnacle bounties.
Yes.
Out of it too. Yep. So yeah, it makes it worth it in that way.
Yeah, Iron Banner is absolutely worth it. As long as it's dropping pinnacles, Iron Banner is worth it. And this is really the first Iron Banner that I've been excited for in a long time. And it's mostly just because I'm having such a fun time in PvP.
Yeah.
I can't wait to jump in there and earn those rewards over the course of the week. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Oh, man. Jeez Louise. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then next week, it's not next week, but the week after next, we have Moments of Triumph, correct?
Yes, Moments of Triumph, starting on July 7th, I want to say, and going until, I think all the way up until Beyond Light releases. I want to say it's going until September 22nd, which is interesting.
Yeah.
That's long.
That is long. It gives you a long time to do the stuff. Well, we have Moments of Triumph, and we'll have Solstice of Heroes. Yes,
Solstice of Heroes, I think, starts in August, I want to say. It's like a month. You're going to have about a month to get whatever Solstice of Heroes is going to offer. I don't remember. Right. Is Moments of Triumph the one that drops the armor, or is that Solstice?
Man, I don't.
The like worthless armor.
Hurts. I don't know. I don't know.
Why are these events not the same thing?
My brain really hurts.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't.
One of them. It's one of them.
It's one of them.
It's probably Solstice that does it, because I think it's like called glowing armor.
Yeah.
And
Solstice dropped worthless armor, says BG in chat.
Yeah, worthless. Thank you, BG. And that's, I don't care what Solstice is going to be this time around. My only request is the same as my request last year, is the same as my request the year before that. Please don't make the armor worthless.
Yes.
Please. We're 0 for 2 on Solstice of Heroes armor. You drop it, it costs a ridiculous amount of time investment to get done and leveled up all the way to the Masterwork legendary versions with the glows and all that kind of stuff. It looks super pretty, and then you immediately release an expansion that completely invalidates it. Yeah. Right now, of course, with Shadowkeep, they threw us a little bit of a bone after public outcry because it was absolutely not going to have the new mod system and not going to be at the new power level. So they changed that stuff, but it's an awful stat roll. It was like, low 50s in the 40s for most of the pieces. Don't do that again, Bungie. Please.
Please don't.
It's not a great way to respect players' time. But anyways, that's Solstice. That's happening in August. Next week, July 7th, well, week after next week, whenever you guys are here, it's July 7th. We've got Moments of Triumph starting. And at least according to websites like Dim, we actually know what some of the challenges for the Moments of Triumph are going to be, unless, Bungie changes it. And if you've got your account linked in Dim, you can actually go and look at the seal that's going to be tied to the Moments of Triumph for 2020. And it requires stuff like, well, spoiler alert. If you don't want to know what these challenges are, skip forward about 20 seconds. If you do want to hear this stuff, it's going to be stuff like getting your Valor to Legend, completing the Prophecy Dungeon, defeating a Tier 5 Nightmare boss in the Altars of Sorrow. There is, unfortunately, a Gambit challenge. I'm sorry. I know. You're going to have to deposit like 250 motes and defeat 150 enemies, which honestly isn't that bad. That's like a couple of games.
Right.
And then there's at least 2 secret triumphs. So some of you might have some of that stuff already done. Like if you go and, like I said, link your account on Dim, it says for me, I've got 6 out of 9 of the Moments of Triumph challenges done for the seal. So hopefully when that starts, I'll just have to do 3 things and be done with it. And one of those 3 things is undoubtedly going to be the quest to unlock the Traveler's Judgment exotic sidearm. But that'll be, Moments of Triumph on starting July 7th and going until September 22nd.
We've got 5 out of 9 done.
See?
Yeah.
Almost there.
I need to hit Valor Legend 2 more times. And then I need to defeat enemies in Gambit. And then after that, pretty much done. Except for whatever the next 2 things are, which have to be from like some whatever event.
Yeah. Whatever activity they're going to drop with it. Oh man, wouldn't it be cool if they did something with the European aerial zone again?
Yeah. Somebody was talking about that the other day in chat, and I was like, you know what?
Yeah.
That
was a cool area.
Yeah. I liked it. It was fun. I liked the bosses in the area.
Yeah. It was cool.
And the hide and go seek kind of thing that went with it too. So
that was an interesting reward structure where you beat the bosses, and then based on how much time you've built up and your knowledge of where those chests can spawn, you can go around and get, what was it, like an additional 12 to 13 chests?
Yeah.
It was a lot.
Yeah.
It was a good activity. I miss it. Hopefully it comes back this year.
Yeah. Same. Oh man. But other than that, I think we got questions.
Right on. Let's speed run some questions.
All right.
Get on out of here from you.
I'm gonna save one of these toward the end because it involves my stream earlier today. So we'll get to that later. Kinsey900 says, so how do you feel about sunsetting now with all Iron Banner weapons coming back and having to chase those same roles again? How do you feel about sunsetting?
So this is something I actually talked a bit about on the TWAB video we put up for this week. With a lot of these reworked weapons returning to the game, you've already got, they're basically just arbitrary new versions of guns you've already got that are capable of hitting a new power level.
Right.
A good example I brought up was Orwing's Maul, which is the Void special grenade launcher. It was accessible last year, all of last year through Iron Banner. There is a new separate reworked version of it in the loot pool for this Iron Banner that only has really superficial changes. It's got mostly the same perk pool. I think it's got maybe 1 or 2 different perks on it, but it's of course capable of hitting the new power level. And that doesn't really feel worthwhile. It kind of feels like it's invalidating the Orwing's Maul that I've already got in my vault that is arbitrarily going to be sunset in another season or 2. While this new Orwing's Maul, which is basically the exact same thing, isn't going to be sunset next season. And so a lot of people are feeling like, well, if you were going to be updating these exact same weapons without making any major changes to them, why not just update the ones I've already got so that I can infuse them to the new light? And honestly, I get that. I understand that feeling. I don't see any reason to grind out a new Orwing's Maul, and it's weird that there's a new separate version of it that's the exact same, but this one can arbitrarily get a higher light.
I saw something that was it's apples and oranges. I understand. But I saw something that was comparing Magic the Gathering with Destiny and sunsetting. And when Magic the Gathering would reissue a card for tournament play, you would have to use the newest version of it.
Yes.
So that, I mean, kind of makes sense to me, but at the same time, I understand, especially when it comes to random rolls. I don't know. I'm not too worried about it. The game is about getting weapons and using them.
Absolutely.
And I feel like lately it has been one where the entire sandbox is up for grabs. It's not, you don't necessarily need these 4 things in order to be successful in activity. And like, I don't know. That's how I felt about it for the most part. Especially like if Boltcaster coming back and like,
oh, so happy about it.
Oh, Dark Drinker. Oh, that's sweet Dark Drinker. Let me tell you.
It's all you need.
Oh, it's so good. It like, I don't know. I'm fine with it. As long as we're getting new stuff, I'm fine as new stuff on the way as well. I'm fine with it for the most part.
Same.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel the same. It doesn't really bother me at all. It's whatever. Yeah. It's just another Aura Wings Mall.
Yeah.
But I get why people were upset about it, which was the point of my diatribe there. I just wanted to I wanted to say I understand why they're mad. When you're looking at, okay, well, here's this Aura Wings Mall. That's the same as this Aura Wings Mall, except this one can get a higher power. What's the difference there?
They're both Spider-Man pointing back at one another.
Yeah, it's the Spider-Man meme. But yeah, honestly, it doesn't really bother me.
Yeah. I don't know. It is what it is. Gray Fox asks, so with the looming trip to Europa and planets going bye-bye, are you hoping to jump on some lingering grinds for these planets?
No.
Same.
I have no reason to go to IO other than contact. That's basically it. I just now for people out there who haven't gotten Wayfarer, get to those planets.
Yeah.
Finish up that planetary grind now. Do not wait. Get it done. But after that, I there's no real reason for me to go to IO. There's no real reason for me to go to Titan other than to look at the pretty scenery.
Right. Just, I don't know. Those seals will go away. Those seals are going away. Wow.
How are you going to get Wayfarer without that?
Wow. So Wayfarer will actually have a rarity too.
Yeah, instead of everybody and their mama having it, like, they just hand these out for playing the game.
Thank you for turning on the game. Here's your Wayfarer medal.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Got to get that Braytech Osprey. That's right, external.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I really don't know. I don't
when it comes
I need anything.
Ed?
I don't think I need anything. Like Mars nodes, I could give a shit about them.
Yep. Never again.
I've never gone for them for this long. Could give a shit about them. What else?
Yeah.
What else is the only other things that I like Whisper of the Worm. If you don't have Whisper of the Worm or the Catalyst, go for that. It's still viable. It's an exotic Catalyst. Yeah, World Line Zero's Catalyst.
That's probably the only one because I haven't gotten the World Line Zero Catalyst because I refuse. But that's probably one that people should get out there to get because that's one that takes a while. It takes a lot of work to get the World Line Zero Catalyst. Yeah. But
Blacksmith is going away.
Yep.
Our buddy Sin on Twitch. Our buddy Sin on Twitch is like, that's why Moon's been going at Blacksmith so hard because Scourge will be donezo.
Got to get it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of content that's getting. You don't really have to. There's a lot of content that's getting shifted into the Destiny content vault, and honestly, with the promise of everything that's coming because that stuff's getting vaulted, I'm okay with it. I'm okay with that stuff with some of these planets and activities going away to make room for both returning content and new content.
Yeah,
I'm all right.
Yeah. So we have Darrow with Vault of Glass coming back in Beyond Light or Year 4. Do you think newer players who haven't played the raid are going to like or hate it? And what about adding champions to the raid? How do you feel about that?
I don't want them to add champions to Vault of Glass. I really hope they don't, but you know they're going to. Templar phase is about to have all kinds of unstoppable champions rushing you.
Or those Minotaurs are going to be barriers. Like,
yeah, that's what I could see happening. They're not going to add new enemies in addition to the enemies that were there. They're going to take some of the enemies that were there and then throw champion nonsense on them.
Yeah, and add that mechanic in.
You're going to have anti-barrier hobgoblins during the Templar phase. You might have in Unstoppable Minotaur bum rush you.
Yeah.
Or whatever is the teleporting champion one. And Lord knows, I don't want it. I don't want it, but I can see the nightmare scenario of an anti-barrier supplicant.
I want it so bad.
No,
they just roam up, pop bubble, explode on you.
And explode. You better have your anti-barrier weapons on deck. That's gonna be awful. It's gonna be absolutely awful. I don't want champions in Vault of Glass. I've made my peace with the fact that it's probably gonna happen.
It's gonna happen in the first. In the first area, we're gonna have to. We're gonna go back to Venus for a little bit.
We're going back to. I think it's more than a little bit. I think the planet's.
You think all of it? Okay.
I think the whole planet's coming back.
Okay. Interesting.
Gotta open the door, fam.
Yeah, that's true. Ooh.
And I think there's gonna be some champions there when you're building the spire.
Yeah.
Better stay on that plate, boy. You better stay on that plate. I can't wait for the experience, though. Oh my gosh. I'm so psyched for the return of Vault.
Man, 60 frames in Vault of Glass. And TBL just died. It was too much for him to handle.
Beautiful. It's going to be beautiful.
Oh, man. Yeah, it's going to be fun. I really hope they fuck with some stuff. I hope the jumping puzzle. Yeah. I hope the jumping puzzle is all a mess. I hope,
my goodness!
I hope it doesn't work the same way that people remember it, and they have to find a new way through.
Pattern. And a completely different path through the Gorgon's maze. But leave the original path there, but it just leads to certain death.
There's just like when you go up. Oh man, when you got up on like Pride Rock, when you got up there, just put one of the Gorgons on top of that.
He's behind a wall that you can only see when you get to the top, and he's looking right at you. The Gorgon has spotted its prey.
I'd
love that.
I want it so bad now.
Absolutely.
The final question is Radaka's. And so he's asking, question, out of the Xbox, PS4, and PC, what is your favorite platform to delete D2 off of? Now, normally I wouldn't ask this question. Today we were celebrating 3,000 followers on my channel, and I got sidetracked by the conversation, and thinking that I was closing out of D2 on PlayStation, I deleted it from my console. I don't know how to explain it. What is the derpiest thing you've done in out of game situation when it comes to something like that? Have you ever deleted like a game on accident?
Absolutely. Oh, absolutely. I would say deleting a save from a memory card, like back in the PS2 and GameCube era.
Yeah.
I wasn't overwriting a save. Final Fantasy. Yeah, like Final Fantasy 9. I remember accidentally overwriting a save that I had put like 12 hours into and just being like, it happens. It happens to everybody.
Yeah, we were going to be helping like a couple more people on PS4 throughout the day, but I don't know why I went down to delete. I don't know why I hit OK. I don't know, like, there were 2 steps. And I blew right past both of them.
I'm watching it right now. Oh no.
Oh no. And I don't even realize I did it until much later.
Oh no. Radaka jumps in and it's like, wait.
Yeah. Nobody told me.
Dude.
Like, we went to swap back after Radaka. We went to swap back to PS4. And, like, nobody told me that had happened until right then.
And I can see it. It was just your mind wasn't on it.
No.
But you straight up went down to delete. Like, well, I'm done with this toy.
I'll never use this toy again, Papa.
I'll never use it again. Oh, I almost want you to play it here on stream.
I don't.
For the people to watch.
I don't want to. Maybe I'll send it to Moon and leave it at her discretion.
Yeah. Oh no. Oh no.
Yeah.
I feel you, dog.
Yeah. Anyways.
Rest in peace.
Well.
How long did it take to re-download?
So I started the download after stream and I haven't checked it back because I just don't have the heart.
It's PS4. It's so slow. Oh no. Slow. And Destiny 2 is like 100 gigs now.
Yeah. So like in 8 hours, it'll go through. I'm not playing the clip. I got to add another source to it and everything. And I don't want you guys sitting around here.
That's all right. That's all right.
Derp through.
Chat. Let's just dish out an L. An L from a boy, Danfinity.
Yeah.
Rest in peace.
Anyways. Well, that's all the questions for tonight.
Was that the vaulting story?
That was the vaulting story.
See, you're ahead of the game, man. We don't have to wait for Bungie to put all this content into the content vault. Nope. Dan's doing it for
I'm just glad I don't work at Bungie. Yeah. I'm glad I'm not the person in charge of files at Bungie.
Oh.
Where'd Destiny 2 go, Dan?
The vault. Check the vault.
I vaulted it.
It's perfect because you vaulted all of Destiny 2 and we're left with only Destiny 1.
Destiny 1.
And there's some people who would consider that an improvement. So
there's some. I would disagree with them, but there are some.
Rest in peace. Looking forward to you being back on Destiny 2 on PS4 next year.
Yeah.
just in time for the Witch Queen to drop.
Oh yeah. Well, hopefully I'll have a PS5 then, and it'll take 3/4 of the time to download.
They'll have cut down on the whole downloading and installing time frame up there on a PS4.
Jeez Louise. I hope so. So what are your thoughts on the PlayStation 5? This is the last question of the night. What are your thoughts?
I'm still enamored with the memes.
Okay.
I love the design memes that have come out of this thing. That boy tall.
Yeah. It's a tall boy. It is a tall
boy. I mean, it's cool.
Yeah.
I like it.
It definitely is unique looking.
Yeah.
I've heard an interesting theory that those wings are actually removable. So
neat. Is that where did they man up and give us a price yet?
Not yet.
Yeah, that sounds like Sony.
Yeah.
I mean, I like it. I love that there's going to be cross-platform compatibility between the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 family. I love that. And I love that because I own Destiny and all this stuff on PS4, I'll be able to get it all on PS5. Just like when I bought this game initially on PS3 and was able to get it immediately for free on PS4.
Yeah. But you weren't able to play with your PS3 buds.
I was not. Nope.
This time around, you'll be able to, which I think is a huge improvement.
Absolutely. Yeah. because you're not locking out a gigantic install base. You're not making it so that the people who are on PS5, which is probably going to be a minority of the players, aren't going to be able to interact with the greater majority of players that are available there on console. So I'm really happy that's going to be a thing. I'm very happy with that kind of compatibility between PS5 and PS4. Very happy with what Bungie's doing with it. And I can't wait for full cross-platform compatibility in the future.
That'll be
gotta be good.
Yeah. That'll be great. So
I like it.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I think I'm going to get one. I think I'm going to end up getting one. Cyberpunk looks too good. And
it does.
Yeah. It looks real good. So, other than that, yeah, I'm good.
Can't wait.
Yeah. Can't wait.
But all right, everybody, I do believe that brings us to a close on episode 244 of the Planet Destiny podcast. This has been a fun one, Dan. I've really enjoyed this one. We started with movies, made our way through PS4 or PS5 memes and everything in between. I'd say that's a pretty darn good show, my friend. Good stuff.
Pretty good time. I had a blast.
Pretty good time.
Yeah.
But of course, so we're going to go ahead and get on out of here. Before we do, we are going to let you know where you can find us all across the internet, starting with the man, the myth, the legend himself, Mr. Danfinity. What's going on, buddy?
Oh, hello. My name's Danfinity. I play PvP on PC exclusively. You can find me 3 days a week on Twitch, twitch.tv/Danfinity, where I only play PC, only ever. You can also catch me on Twitter and Instagram at Danfinity, where the IRLs. If you want to check out a podcast this week, I got to interview Kevin OSX, a good buddy of ours. I got to interview him for side quests, and it was a really fun episode. And last week I had Young Khan on, so you can catch up on those two and just have a pretty good time.
Good show. You run a fantastic podcast, and it's a lot of fun to listen to. A lot of fun.
I do my best. What about you, TBL? Where can people find you?
Well, people can find me pretty much everywhere on the internet. Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, all the good places at the Black Link. This week is probably going to be a lot like last week, just the usual live streams. We usually live stream Monday to Friday. Taking the average day off in between, depending on what life throws at me. I wasn't able to stream quite as much as I wanted to this past week because of life and different circumstances, appointments, all the kind of stuff. Adulting, as it were. But this week we're looking to get back into more regular live streams again, like we were in previous weeks. Probably going to be streaming a lot of Prophecy and Crucible and Destiny. I have been getting back into the Division 2 over the weekend, having a lot of fun with the Division 2. We just had a new season start in there, so there's some new exotics and new gear sets and stuff to go after. So I'm having a lot of fun with that. And of course, we'll be doing Destiny videos and all of the like on the Planet Destiny YouTube channel at youtube.com/Planet Destiny, where you can find all the latest news for what's going on in the Destiny universe. But all right, ladies and gentlemen, I do believe that is it. That's it. We're done.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for tuning in to episode 244 of the Planet Destiny podcast, your guide to this week in Destiny. We'll catch you all next week. Bye, everybody.
Bye.